The first quarter of this year has been rife with reported cases of spousal abuse and murders and ritual murders. The perpetrators are facing the full rigors of the law. To society, these categories of people are a misfit and should not be tolerated and accommodated. However, advocates of mental health say the perpetrators of spousal abuse and murders could be suffering from deep-seated depression, insecurities, psychotic delusions, etc., whereby in the case of ritual murders, the ambition of a grandiose lifestyle accounts for the trend.
The men may have this, what we call morbid jealousy. Sometimes it might even be a delusion. And if somebody asks, I could go into that. Having the belief that somebody else is sleeping with the partner. And this could eventually lead to misunderstandings and conflicts that can lead to, murder or homicide, as the case may be.
Perpetrators are said to be controlling and manipulative, who show remorse after rationalizing their actions only to mete out worse abuse on their victims. According to clinical psychologist Dr. of abuse first begins with tension, verbal attacks, emotional abuse, before the explosion stage of violent acts and even murder. A gender advocate, Mrs. Daiwilpe, says the way male and female children are socialized may reinforce their mindset to perpetrate violence or become helpless in an abusive relationship. The chief executive of the Mental Health Authority, Professor Kwesi Osei, enumerated some underlying psychological conditions that provoke the perpetrators and cautioned victims to seek help or walk away from such abusive relationships, even if society frowns on it.
Somebody may simply be paranoid schizophrenia, in which the person feels that somebody or the rest of the world is against him or her. And if the object of the paranoia happens to be the spouse, then God save us. There is a phenomenon called delusional disorder, where the person simply feels he has a certain fixated belief which you cannot rule or you cannot uproot, even if you bring evidence to the contrary. These days we hear of bipolar disorder, thanks to the media. Personality disorder, somebody with this phenomenon may perpetrate a crime, spousal abuse, spousal murder, without any sense of remorse. To him, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We also have masochism, sadism, which is a sexual orientation disorder. Somebody feels that I only get my satisfaction by inflicting pains on my partners.
The experts say it is necessary for spouses to be well informed about the telltale signs of abuse and be sensitive to the subtle changes in their behaviors. Children are also advised to be wary of strangers and persons who tend to be overly nice to them to avoid the tendency of being lured and murdered. Sarah Fori, GBC News, Accra.